Hello guys, I'm Sane and welcome back to another video. So this time I'm doing something a little bit different. For the first time I'm not singing, but I'm actually sharing with you my exquisite taste in TV shows. No, I'm just kidding. I just want to give you some suggestions on what to watch while we have to be under quarantine. It's such an awful time and series distract us from all of this. So let's get into it.
Why?
Let's go, man. Come on, come in.
I'm getting you out of here.
Come on. Burrows, roll it up. Happy hour's over.
It's impossible. Not if you design the place, it isn't.
So what is this show about? It's exactly what the title says. It's a prison break, someone trying to get out of prison. So basically, due to political conspiracy, an innocent man, Lincoln Burrows, goes into death row. And like his only hope is his brother, Michael Scofield, the main character, and my favorite, that like comes up with a mastermind plan to take his brother out of prison. But he doesn't do this from outside of prison. He actually goes into prison to free his brother. And it's amazing to just go through his plan, his mind. He's such a genius that it actually ruined La Casa de Papel, or Money Heist, for me, because I saw La Casa de Papel right after Prison Break, so Professor was not as smart as Michael Scofield for me, so I was just a bit disappointed. Another thing that I really liked about the show was seeing life in prison, how it is like, how you become friends with actual criminals. You would never be friends with them outside of prison. I like the fights and the action. I really like it. I was really surprised because I'd never seen a TV show or a movie about prison, so a good surprise. Watch it.
Do we know each other?
No. No, but everyone knows who you are. You're the famous author living in Goose Cove.
This is such an underrated mini-series. It only has 10 episodes, but so much happens in them. So basically the plot is that there's a writing student that goes to his former tutor's house to find inspiration for his new book. And while he's there, his tutor is charged with the murder of a girl that disappeared a long time ago in his city because her body is found buried in his backyard. Fun! So like the student just talks to everyone in the city and tries to find him innocent because he believes he's not the killer. So the TV show is him like finding out everything that happened in the past. And what I love about this show is that you're not only focused on finding the killer, I mean it's the main point, but like you're also curious about everyone in everyone's lives, everyone that lives in that town. So it's amazing to just discover everything, and it makes so much sense at the end, you don't imagine. So it's just a series full of drama, mystery, and a lot of plot twists, which I love. So yeah, it's only 10 episodes, so you have no excuse to not watch it.
You pasted this back up, this together, lovable, cute, bendy little creature. If anything, the fact that you didn't share me with your followers only confirms we really connected. The next thing our little friend the internet gave me was your address.
So where do I start with this one? Well, it's based on a novel, and it's a 21st century love that tries to answer the question, what will you do for love? So there's Joe, he's a bookstore manager, and he meets Beck and he falls in love, and he answers this question with anything. So like, he has a little crush for her, but it quickly turns into an obsession. He's a stalker, and supposedly he's the bad guy of the show. But it's amazing how this series just manipulates your brain into thinking he's the hero of the show, because like the entire show is narrated by him. You know his thoughts, he's like it justifies everything he does, you know, so you kind of feel empathy for him. So like at the end of the show I loved him and I didn't like Beck one bit. Just go watch this amazing thriller with unexpected deaths and genius endings in both seasons before the third one comes out. That's my advice. So this is not a continuous show. Each episode tries to criticize a part of our society of what is wrong with it. So some deal with popularity, some with cheating, some with like the importance we give to money. And the creators want to show us a world that is minutes from ours. So like it all falls apart in Black Mirror. It starts well and then it all falls apart. And they're just trying to say, if you continue with this behavior, it will all fall apart. That's basically it. And because of that, this show makes you really insightful, makes you want to change your life for the better. You don't want to end up with a life like the characters in Black Mirror. That's basically it.
Say I love you is not the words I want to hear from you. It's not that I need you, not because...
So let's now move on to a TV show that it's not as dense as the last four I showed you. This one is a teenage drama. You know, the ones we always say we don't like, but there's always one in our favorites. Yeah, and this is mine. It's Scam. So this is a Norwegian show that follows the lives of high school kids. And each season, it has 4 seasons and each season is narrated by a different character. So the first one is narrated by Eva, or Eva, I think it's Eva. Like, she's an outcast girl that has problems with her boyfriend. And that's it. You know, for me, the first season is the worst, and its only purpose is to introduce amazing characters and build up to the second and third season, which are my favorite. Also, something unique about this TV show is that it's realistic. It's not like other teen dramas like Riverdale or Pretty Little Liars. Definitely not realistic. It involves too much magic. But no, Scam is like realistic. And I went to UK to study and I asked a lot of Norwegians, have you seen Scam? Is it realistic? And they always answer yes, so I'll take their words. And this show turned out to be so popular. There's already a Spanish version, Italian, French. There's multiple versions of it. It just took over Europe. So if you want a teenage drama outside the box, watch Scam.
Sir, stop it right there! Sir!
Sensei, like, I can tell you for sure that there isn't a Netflix show as international as this one. So basically the story, it follows the lives of 8 strangers and they're all from a different continent. Like, there's one in Kenya, one in Mexico, one in Korea, like everywhere. And they're strangely connected in such a deep level and they don't even know why. So like if one is struggling, like he's having a fight and doesn't have the skills for it, like the mind of one of them just goes to the body of the other and fights for them. And it's so confusing, but it's so amazing to see how intimate all these different people are. Also, there's so much action, so much movement in the show that it's really engaging. And I love when they all eventually meet. And it's not all staged, so the crew actually films in every continent, the show. And that's why it was cancelled. Yay!
Come on, Cass. I mean, you never eat anything. I mean, your parents must notice or something. I don't know.
I'm going to show you. You have to do a lot of talking. I'm good at talking. You do that while you're cutting things up a lot. And then, questions.
So one day I was lying in my bed and I turned on the TV on MTV and there was a show called Skins and it seems interesting, so I just watched it. I was 10. And then there was a naked guy alone in a house that was dirty and he got into a disgusting tub and he showered and the water was also disgusting and he slipped and it was horrible, so I just turned on the TV. So I didn't have a really good first impression of Skins. But when I was 15, I decided to give it another try, and how right I was to give it another try. So this TV show has 3 seasons. Each of them focuses on a different group of British friends and their lives and their problems. So it is really realistic. And I thought it wasn't when I watched it. But then I moved to England and I met like every character. I met Tony's, I met Cassie's, I met Sid's, I met Giles, I met every character in real life. And I was like, what? This is their past? Oh my god. So the problem with Skins is that they swear a lot, it's not aesthetically pleasing, and you know, everything is dirty, and some people don't give it a shot because of that. I didn't give it a shot at first because of that, but I mean, it is worth to get through all of that because it explores really important issues like how to deal with loss and anxiety, and like it's funny. So like if you want to cry and you want to laugh at the same time, watch Skins. Really, it's worth to get past all the disgusting bits, I swear.
You are going to die.
Okay. So from the clip that just passed, I know this looks totally super creepy, and I thought so too as well. So like once upon a time, I was 10 and I was always watching Fox, and there was always the same commercial passing like, American Horror Story is gonna premiere, watch it. So I just watched the first episode, and after this first scene that was so creepy, I just turned the TV off. But I swear it's not that creepy, and I'll explain you later why. But first I'm gonna explain to you what it's about. So each season basically is set up in a perfect scenario for a perfect horror story. So like the first one is a haunted house, the second an asylum, witches, a freak show, an old hotel, one of those paranormal reality TV shows, a cult, an apocalypse, and a summer camp in the 80s. And now this year, finally, I'm so excited, the 10th season is gonna premiere, and it's something about to see, but I'm not sure what exactly it's about. My favorite season is the second one, the asylum, because it's so realistic, because these asylums actually did exist in the past. And I love realistic stuff, as you imagine. And when Nikki starts playing, it's so creepy and I love it. But it's not as creepy. It's not as creepy as it sounds, I swear. And the reason why it's not that creepy, it's because it's always the same actors doing different characters. So you get attached to the actors, then you get attached to their characters. So it's not, you know, it's not horrible when you see Evan Peters horribly killing someone. Because it's Evan Peters, and you look at his beautiful face and you're like, you're forgiven for everything. Also, you never get tired of this show because it's such a clear plot, such a clear storyline. It has a beginning, a middle, and an ending, and that's it. Then you move on to a different story, so it's always fresh.
So, when's the party?
Saturday. And you're kind of not invited.
So yes, there's a first teenage drama, and this is my guilty pleasure, Gossip Girl. Oh my god. So I remember how I started watching all of my favorite TV shows, and this one happened when I was having canoeing classes with one of my best friends, and we were bored after watching Pretty Little Liars, so we just pinky promised we would watch Gossip Girl until the end, all together. And you don't imagine how obsessed we got with it. I'm not gonna tell you all about it. Just know that we used to fall asleep in sleepovers talking about our favorite couple from Gossip Girl. I'll just tell you that I have 4 seasons in DVDs. Who even buys DVDs anymore? And I did. And what is it about? So it follows the lives of privileged kids that live in New York, Upper East Side, and the characters are Serena, then there's Blair Waldorf, then Nate, and there's Chuck Bass. He's like the player and my favorite character, and if you watch until the end you'll understand why. And like, these are really rich, these 4 characters. Then there's a 5th character, Dan Humphrey, and he lives in Brooklyn, and I don't know how he can afford to be in the same school as the other 4 teenagers, but he does. And like, the show is about how he enters this luxurious and rich life. So the story starts when Serena van der Woodsen comes from a year in boarding school. No one knows why she went to boarding school, because it's when a website gets launched of a mystery person who just says crap about everyone, Gossip Girl. And the show is kind of narrated by the posts that are made in the Gossip Girl website. And you spend the whole show trying to find out who it is, and it's impossible, and when they reveal it, you're like, no way. The two things I'm most amazed about in this show is that first, it's amazing to see this luxurious life that I wouldn't like to have myself, but it's so aesthetically pleasing, you know, the dresses, the fashion stuff. And second of all, it's the show that has the most character development for me, because you accompany these characters since they're in 10th grade, and then the show ends when they already have a family and they work and they learn with their mistakes and they grow so much. And in the beginning they're just rich brats, but when it finishes, like, they're actual adults. And I love to gain this connection with characters, you know. How I Met Your Mother. This is the best show ever, 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 and no one will ever convince me otherwise. I mean, I hope everyone who is watching this video knows what I'm talking about and has seen at least one episode, but in case you didn't, I'll just give you a brief summary of it. So there's Ted Mosby, and he's telling his two children the story of how he met their mother through his memories with his four best friends, Robin, Lily, Marshall, and Barney. Barney Stinson, the best character the most legendary character that ever existed. So this show has 9 seasons, and I bet that Ted's children are bored at some point of the story, but I love how long it is, because all the despair, the laugh, the tears, every moment of the show, every chat contributes to like Ted meeting the mother and marrying her and having children. Like, the whole point of the show is discovering who is the woman that Ted marries, and like everything, it's important. Everything comes down to that, and it's amazing how it all makes sense. So the main genre of this show is comedy, and the comedy is brilliant, but the show also tells you a lot about life, and like it gives you important life lessons, and I actually have some here, so I'll just tell you some. Nothing good happens after 2 a.m. Destiny happens whether you plan it or not. When you meet the right person, you just know it. You can't stop thinking about them. They're your best friend and your soulmate, and you can't wait to spend the rest of your life with them. Some things have to fall apart to make way for better things. You can cling to the past because no matter how tightly you hold, it's already gone. And so on and so on and so on, and like, I'll tell you that this show will change your life, will make you understand life. I don't know, like this show has everything I think. It's exactly how I feel in some situations, and I love how relatable it is. And then there's the ending. And it was like the first time I cried watching a TV show, because I grew up with this TV show. When I was like 9, I would wake up at weekends and go to my mother's bed and watch with her How I Met Your Mother. And like first it was only like separate episodes, I wouldn't understand a thing, but then I started watching chronologically and it all made so much sense. And now, like, watching the last episode, seeing the characters saying goodbye, it was like a phase of my life was over, and it was awful. And the ending itself, it was awful. I don't know what they were thinking about. But just like Ted Mosby said, it doesn't matter the ending, just enjoy the ride. So like, just watch every episode 5 times like I did, and then don't watch the last episode. So I finished my video with this important show that everyone should watch, because you learn a lot of it. Bye, see you next week.